Today on the Backwoods Angler, we're heading up to Wyoming County in northern Pennsylvania. We're going to do some largemouth fishing through the lily pads. We've got some topwater frog action, we've got buzzbaits, we've got salty shads. Stick around and you'll get to meet the secret identity of that special angler known as the Dink Man. Plus, we'll also meet a local spinnerbait manufacturer. All that and more on the Backwoods Angler. Brought to you by Case Plastics, makers of the Sinkin' Salty Shad.
Come here, Bubba. Yeah, I know.
Buzzbait largemouth. I'm here with Tim Godshall. He's hosting us here on this lake in northern Pennsylvania, Wyoming County. Tim, you say you fish the North Branch of the Susquehanna quite a bit. So you're very adept to the smallmouth deal. What, in your experience, what is the single greatest difference in what we're doing today and what you do out on the river?
Probably the type of structure that you find them in. I mean, largemouth are really cover related. I mean, smallmouth are too, but I think they roam around more searching for food.
Especially in the river too.
Yeah, and I think the largemouth are pretty much just laying ambush, you know, most of the time.
They like grass, they like wood, and they'll use it. They really, and they tend to really be tight.
Better.
They really get tight to cover. That's why the casting, you know, you said before, we have to really be specific in where we cast our lures. You can't just cast in the middle of the lake.
There's nothing out there except mud.
Yeah.
You know, there's really nothing there for them.
So we've got lots of wood cover here. We've got overhanging trees and bushes and pad beds and all kinds of good stuff. So let's go get them.
Get them.
All right. Good one?
Not bad.
Fish is a fish is a fish. That's 2 quick bites on a buzzbait.
He didn't even give it a chance to start buzzing. That's a little better one.
That's a good fish.
Yep. Ooh. Yep, that's a little better
Good
one.
Fish.
You can see he's been caught and released. The jaw's been broken. Comes to a point there.
You got a broken jaw?
Well, it broke and then re-healed.
Yeah.
But he come back for it. He completely missed it the first time. He'd been hooked before too, not too long ago.
Got Tim throwing the buzzer. I'm backing him up with the salty dog. Buzzbaits and salty shads, same thing they're eating on the Delaware Saturday. They fool you too. You keep making cast after cast after cast with nothing, and then just one cast.
Yep.
If you're not on the game, you miss them.
It's a lot easier when it's bright sunny day because it concentrates them under that stuff.
Sure. We wanted them to eat topwater. We got a few eating buzzbaits, and all my fish so far have come on old Charlie Case's salty shad. They are really letting me know it too when they eat it. There you go. Same size?
I think so. 2 pounds of fish and 5 pounds of grass.
Tim, how you working that buzzbait through those pads?
Getting it as close as I can to the shore, and then as it's coming through the pads, I kind of pop my rod a little bit to hop it up over the pads and
I notice you're
through the
working it
grass.
very slow.
As slow as I can.
To keep that buzzer moving. You just,
Yeah, as slow as I can. They get smaller as they get closer. They get smaller as they get closer.
That's not a bad one. That's not a bad fish.
That was a textbook spot though, right next to the stump.
Tim told me earlier that they were not going to come out off a cover, and I keep fishing in between these little groups of pads and out in the middle of this channel, and he's right. Every fish we've had so far has been very, very tight to the cover. Largemouth are like that. They'll be embedded in this stuff in the summertime, in these pads and in the milfoil and the hydrilla. And it's very rare that you find largemouths roaming. Pre-spawn, you'll find them roaming from time to time in bigger lakes, bigger impoundments. They'll be roaming, but for the most part, if you're gonna catch largemouth after the spawn, you're gonna get them in cover of some sort. Wood cover and pads and grass are primarily the three best ones to look for. This buzzbait has an impediment on it. We'll be right back after this message. Is impediment a word?
River fish live in nasty places.
The River Pro 186 Low Pro is the ultimate shallow water fishing machine. Agile, aggressive, and armed to the teeth with all the angling ammo you'll ever need. With the Mercury Sport Jet, you'll fly over just inches of water, places no ordinary boat could go. River Pro, hard-bellied, all-welded, custom-built jet boats for the serious river fishermen like you.
Ponderosa Pines, a family-oriented campground nestled beneath the trees. Relax by your campfire, lounge by our heated pool, fish on our beautiful lake. Join our themed weekend activities. Tent camping is waiting those who want to camp the old-fashioned way, and new park model cabins offer the experience of camping with the luxuries of home. Ponderosa Pines Campgrounds. Come and join the fun. PonderosaPinesCampgrounds.com.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll let you fall. You will fall headlong into the lake, yeah. You will be wet, and when you get out, I'll be the guy you can lean on.
We didn't frog this though, did we?
No, I don't believe we did we?
Because there's some good frogging material
Yes,
right
there is.
tight in there.
You don't have to say it twice. Not with this here quick guy. Tim has switched to a topwater frog in the lily pads. And the cool thing about those frogs is when you get into pads, the pads can be sometimes as thick as covering the water with 2 or 3 inches of cover, and those fish will come right out of that cover, right out of those pads, and they will blast those frogs. The trick to that is you need really good line. You need good heavy line. That's where braid comes in handy, because you can horse some fish out of some of these pads. But that is some fun fishing. A lot of people will look at lakes throughout the summer and they'll say, well, that's not fishable, but you take some topwater frogs in there and you can have a ball. You can catch largemouth all day long, as he just almost did right there. I heard that.
One thing to remember is you might not catch the fish, but if they show themselves, you can go back in with a tube or a rubber worm, because you know where they're at. Then after, you know, after that you can go in with something different to try to get them.
It's good in there. Frogging for largemouth. That's a good one there, Tim.
Yep, not too bad. Hit it about a foot off for sure.
Oh, doggy. Good fish.
Well, I was about a foot off ashore, right in the where the sticks are there sticking out, and those cover on covers where they usually seem to be. And he hit it pretty nice, probably about 3 pounds.
Good fish. Well, we're throwing frogs right now, and I've heard some bullfrogs. What are the main forage types in this lake for these fish to dine upon?
Oh, there's shiners, some crayfish, not too many. Mostly frogs and shiners, I would think.
Yeah.
I think from ice fishermen over the years, they've, you know,
Yeah.
kind of established themselves that way.
Oh, okay, so they got in here from bait buckets.
That's my guess. I don't know for sure, but that's what my guess would be.
Okay. You hear these bullfrogs in these pads. Those fish, it's for keeps when they eat these frogs. There's no question about that.
Yeah, it's not the first time they've seen one.
No, no, they like them.
And they'll just lay right on that edge.
Yep.
And if you're all the same size, you know, if you're not right on the edge when you cast, you're dropping it right on their head and scaring them.
Mm-hmm. Fish and cover. Fish use cover. When you got to go where the fish are, you got to get in there.
You get out in here, it's nothing but a slimy mud bottom. Right under that bush, Blaine, I just missed one. Yep.
See, that's something right there. That proves these fish are just specifically reacting. The first lure in the area seems like...
That might have been him.
I'll clean up the dinks for you, Tim. I'll clean up the peanuts. There he is. All right, the frog. A frog bass. Little one.
I thought it was better than that.
My only frog fish. Oh. The Dink Man, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, man. I can catch this size with the best of them. Hey, there's the one. Always gotta let one down in the boat, even Greg's boat. Get that carpet smelling fishy.
All right.
Got me in that thick stuff.
That's a nice one. Oh. I was just going to comment on how you properly handled that too, by keeping it tight the whole time.
I knew I had to horse him to get him up out of those pads too.
You can't let him go.
Nope. He just threw the hook. We're going to take a break. Come on back soon. We'll be right back.
Mark Holenchik Home Improvements now installs sun tunnels. Do you have a dark room or hallway? A sun tunnel skylight can brighten your home. And you'll save on your electric bill by not using lights during the day. We can transform your room in just a couple of hours. Call now and receive a 3-day, 2-night hotel accommodation at one of 24 popular resort destinations. Be sure to visit our website or call Mark Holenchik Home Improvements today.
The bear climbed over the mountain, the bear climbed over the mountain, the bear climbed over the mountain, and what do you think he saw? What do you think he saw? What do you think he saw? The bear climbed over the mountain, the bear climbed over the mountain, the bear climbed over the mountain, and what do you think he saw?
How you doing, folks? My name is Vince Laprie, president of Spinnerbaits. We have a website at spinnerbaits.com. The original bait was the original Spinnerbait, which is a spinnerbait. My name being Vinny, it became Spinnerbaits. I've been making these for about 20 years, and in the recent 2 years, a couple of my buddies saying, you really ought to be selling this stuff, so we started selling it, and it's catching on pretty well. We make everything from a single blade to a triple blade. Everything is hand painted, hand poured, hand glittered, hand epoxy. We take a lot of extra time, but it shows in the quality of the baits. We pour a lot of soft plastics, and I now make a weighted swim bait hook and a weighted regular Gamakatsu hook, and the same glitter coat that's known with Spinnerbaits goes on everything we make. They're made for durability. They're made for the guy who's blue collar and working and doesn't want to spend $1 million on an expensive bait. We make a good quality bait at a cheaper price. www.spinnerbaits.com.
Get in here, you dog. That was cool. He creamed it.
That might be the ticket for the day. The water's clear.
Tim made the mention that this lake in another, few weeks will be really stained from all the algae and all the weed growth. And he said as we come out of that little channel, he said maybe the fluke style bait would be the way to go with the water still being clear. I switched to it and very quickly caught 2 fish.
What's nice about the fluke too is I see you have yours Texas rigged, which you can also work through the, over across the tops of the pads, and then when it drops in.
Yeah, that one came right off of that little patch. As soon as I got it to the front of it, he blew right up out of the pads. I watched him. That was an aggressive one there too. See that? Little spawned out little dog. Right where he should have been. Tim said there was a little piece of a dock in there under that tree.
Yeah, the old legs of the dock down in there.
I didn't even twitch that bait and that fish was on it.
When the cover's tight like this, it's real important to get in as close to shore as you can, because they're just not going to see your lure if it's not in close enough. Was that right on shore, Blaine?
He was out between shore and this little patch of pads. Cookie cutter fish that I'm catching on the salty shad though. They're almost the exact same kind of fish. I'll tell you what, they crush these things. They really are hitting them when the ones that are eating them are eating them. I mean, and I'm setting the hook immediately, and those dirty things are way back into the top of the mouth, but they're back in. Frog's not the best of shape anymore.
About the same size.
Yeah.
One right after another. They're all about the same. Probably little males guarding a nest or
eating fry or something, yeah. A lot of the males, they eat their babies. 3/4 of the nesting fish that they're supposed to be guarding, they end up eating. We got a lot of little rock bass right now in spawning areas picking on baby smallies too. don't know if that's the same one or not.
This has been a very productive corner.
Oh, you look at it. I mean, it's... The Dink Man in the back of the boat, ladies and gentlemen. The Dink Man. That's funny. Tim threw that buzzbait through there and that fish come up and slapped at it, and I followed it up with the salty shad and he hammered it. We was hoping it would be a bigger one, but such is not the case. We'll get another one. That was cool. I enjoyed that.
My name is Vince LaPree, president of Spinnerbaits. We came out with a new product, the Wacky Stick. We came up with a unique insert that goes inside. So when you wacky rig these baits in the center, it doesn't tear through the bait. These will hold up for 30 or 40 fish versus 3 or 4. www.spinnerbaits.com.
Wayne's Custom Crafted Rods, repairing and reconstructing fishing rods, using the latest reel seats, handles, guides, and guide placement. Freshwater, saltwater, casting, spinning, and fly rods made to order. Quality custom fishing rods, crafted to your specifications using the latest rod building components and techniques. Wayne's Custom Crafted Rods. Call or email today. Do you own an outboard jet motor? Backwoods Angler TV's new DVD, 30-minute PM Outboard Jet Preventative Maintenance, is sure to save you money from repairs, and it will keep you on the water and on the fish.
Visit www.backwoodsanglertv.com today for your chance to win a free guided trip. This trip will be included in one of our episodes for next season. Register today.
I'll normally take and pinch this thing here, pinch it flat so it doesn't spin. Then if you take your needle nose and rough up the top of this, so you just put the little grooves in the top of your thing there, and then it makes a little bit more squeak when you bring it in.
And why did you switch from a buzzbait or from a frog to a buzzbait?
The wind had picked up, and I don't think that the frog makes enough disturbance in the water, where the buzzbait is a bigger profile and it makes a little bit more noise.
Yeah.
It's easier for them to pick up.
We were getting a lot of short bites on the frogs, and Tim switched to that buzzbait, and I was throwing the white buzzbait before. Tim's throwing the black one, and I think in this lower light, the black one is the key. I think that's a major factor. And he's working it really nice and slow. Good buzzbaits will allow you to work slowly, and that blade will just keep rotating on the surface. If you have a miserable buzzbait, you'll have to rip it to keep the blades turning. Whereas a good buzzbait, if you can reel that thing as slowly as possible, and that blade will still, that buzzer will still keep moving. And in this case, that's what they want.
When are we gonna do the tip on how to cast properly? I'd like to watch that.
When we learn how to. Buzzbaits are like that though. Buzzbaits are sometimes hard to gauge.
Sometimes you can't get them stuck.
No, they fly through the air like crazy. The next time you want them to go, and that little buzzer gets stuck in the wind and it just dies. That's how you backlash reels too.
Yep.
A lot of backlashes on buzzbaits. All right.
I don't know if it's the same one following us around the lake or not.
You know what though? They're all fun on buzzbaits, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's funny, Tim. That one was halfway off that pad bed. Come on, Bubba. Let it go.
Did he get off?
No, he hit his head on the outboard. No, that's not a bad fish. Tim got a buzzbait fish. The smallest one of the day.
He must have come swimming right at you.
That is a dink.
See, normally you would try and flip it in them in there.
Tim, thank you very much for bringing us
You're
out here.
welcome.
This was a blast. This was a blast. Buzzbaits, flukes, case salty shads, spinnerbaits. That's what we caught our fish on today. A couple on frogs. I want to also thank Greg Smith for loaning us the boat to get out here. NorthBranchOutfitters.com. Check out Greg. He's a guide on the North Branch of the Susquehanna. I'm Blaine Mangle, backwoods angler. Good fishing. Let's go get another one.
This down in here is a real good frogging spot.
Yeah. I don't think
It's shallow and
they don't usually go up into this tree here though, do they?
No,
The
I
bass. It's hard for them to get up there, I think.
oh, come on. Good cast and it comes in stupid.
Comes in all for hootled.
That almost sounded Dutchy.
Where do you want me? Oh man, it's a tough crowd. Backwoods Angler TV, brought to you by Case Plastics. I caught a fish! Fuel your passion with Backwoods Angler TV. 2 4-pound fish, our first 3 fish. This is not your run-of-the-mill fishing show.
You're cool, right? You are cool.
Catch it all here as we bring fishing hotspots right to your living room.
Oh my goodness, that's a big fish.
Join us for some great fishing on the Backwoods Angler. Sunday evenings on TV2.
Did you see her jump?